Should I full screen it?
Yeah. Well, I'll do my like undergrad first,
Yeah.
and then my CV, and then my.
Is this on? This is undergrad.
This is my
Interim. Yeah.
This is my interim.
Well, you have your undergrad portfolio here.
That's my the first one.
Oh.
That was my application.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cook it up. If it's like covering too much, then you can just like shrink this. You see. But yeah, you don't have to worry about this. You can literally just watch this and then just check going on here.
Do I wear the hat or no?
I think yeah, start with the hat and then you can transform into whatever.
Wait, I'll start with
do
that.
it afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. Do I get to hear myself?
Get to what? Damn, looking good. Nice
Wait.
skin.
Thank you, Kelvin. Okay.
It's rough how much people look better in my lighting. See myself in all the time. Isn't it great lighting? But now I'm like in the shadow realm. Alright.
Is this live already? Nicholas, so who are my viewers? Nicholas and Axel. Hi guys. Okay. Like I haven't. Oh wait, I won't swear. Okay.
Swear as much as you want.
When do you like put the cutoff point? Can we put the cutoff point after this?
What's cutoff?
Like if you like clip this for a different video, can we start the cutoff point?
Oh, okay, so clap when you want me to clip.
Okay.
Let's do that.
3, 2, 1. Hi guys, I'm Ioana. This is Kelvin, and welcome to Ioana's segment of Kelvin Architecture, in which I will be presenting to you guys my undergrad portfolio. So what I applied to the Bartlett with and what I got in with, and then a little bit of what I've been doing this year, and also my CV, in case that's helpful for anyone.
You guys can hear, right? Just confirm you can hear well.
And I'm in Unit 12 right now with Elizabeth Dow and Isabella. And, oh, I got a 100. So I did my undergrad at Nottingham. So when I started the Bartlett, this was my first experience with the Bartlett and everything. So I was coming in blind as well. So my portfolio was a little bit different to a lot of people here. And it's really crazy looking back at the work that I did in undergrad to see how much it has changed. So you can see the difference. How do I full scale?
View, view full screen.
Okay, I'm just gonna be really honest with everything that I've done because I think some things were really good and probably helped my application, some things didn't. Okay, so it was, I haven't looked at this in so long.
I'm just making sure my text is not covering the portfolio. So when you flip it, you can look at the whole.
Nice. So I did my undergrad at Nottingham. I think I said that already. I took off this is my little sister. And the premise was this story that the 3 fates in Greek mythology came to Liverpool in a world where everything was dark, and it's super conceptual and super abstract. And when I look at it now with the knowledge I have after a year in practice and a little bit of time at the Bartlett, it's painful, but it's okay because at the time I loved doing this, which is good. So these were the 3 boats arriving to Liverpool, and I'll read out. 3 boats arrived to a desolate Liverpool. On board are Clothos, Lachesis, and Atropos. And if anyone has seen Hercules, the Disney film, those are the 3 witches and like the 3 fates in Greek mythology. So the whole design was inspired by those 3 witches. And this was actually, this was the AI thing I was talking about.
Oh.
Because when I did my undergrad, that was when people had just started using, well, in Nottingham anyway. I'm sure the Bartlett has been using it for years, but this was when people had just discovered Midjourney. So then I made the 3 characters using Midjourney. And at the time, this was like really cool at Nottingham, but in actual fact, you can just, now it's like everyone can do this. Liverpool. Do we have any Liverpool fans? No, it's all good. Am I like standing too? this was a little collage of the fabric of Liverpool. So I made this. This is so painful.
Nice.
Wow.
Confidence.
I made this using different pictures that I took on the site trip, and I was like obsessed with the black and white theme, and then I made this.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I thought this was gonna come like much later.
Well, so then I really liked hand drawing. I did the Bartlett summer school when I was 18, and I did hand drawing there. So I kept the hand drawing theme throughout my undergrad, and looks painful. Thank you. So then this was like a long drawing I did, and you can see like the little boat coming in, and then the three witches, and then I learned how to like design through drawing. So I would just literally sit and draw for hours and hours and hours, and then Photoshop all these different drawings together, and then like make this story up. So this one, it then started to become like a loom. So all these different, so my tutor would always tell me like, so what would happen if you pretended that you were inside the drawing? And then that's how I would design. So then I imagined the end of this drawing with this, and that's how I started the next one. And so in Greek mythology, Clothos, Lachesis, and Atropos are supposed to be spinning the thread of life. And you have, I could yap for ages, by the way. I've just realized I have my whole interim.
I know it.
So Clothos is meant to be the spinning the thread. Lachesis is meant to be pulling the thread and measuring it, and then Atropos at the end is like this guillotine that never ends. So each of the three fates was represented like as part of the drawing, and then I use that drawing to then, like my tutor would say, because I think I really found undergrad really difficult, and it was until my tutor would tell me, just pretend that you're in that drawing and drawing from a different perspective, and then pretend that you're inside it. That was the only way that it unlocked me to think on how to design, because I found it really hard. And we also did undergrad in COVID, so we didn't have studio as much as you would now, which was really, really difficult because you were kind of on your own. So I would just sit and pretend I was in drawings, and that was my whole thing. So then you can kind of see how this one, if you look at it in plan, then it relates to this. And I drew this plan, like the start of this plan, by looking at how this would be drawn in plan. So I started with this and then drew it in plan. So I almost worked backwards. And the birds are still. My tutor told me not to put birds.
The previous page on the left. That is super nice.
Yeah, these were, and it was meant to be powered by tidal energy, so that was like the startings of adding all those. Like, this is meant to be the water. It's just so conceptual. Okay, this was painful. The plans, I was never very good at drawing, but the plans and the sections were very, very last minute, I will just be honest. But and these were the looms at the end. But you can kind of see how I was starting to think in 3D, but I really like drawing. So then the whole point is that this whole library is meant to be powered by Nyx, who is the mother of the three fates, and I had a whole story to go with it. But that was but this was for that was what I submitted for the Bartlett, and they did ask me things like so I had to present my portfolio, and I presented it much more concise than I just did now. But they asked me things like, why would you want to come to this uni over any other uni? And honestly, obvious questions. And I think I said to him that I really wanted to come here for this unit system, and he said you can do that at any other university as well. And then I think I asked him about AI and how the Bartlett uses AI or something like that. And then we were just challenging each other back and forth. And then I said, and that's why I want to come here, because I want to have these kind of conversations. And he just was like, okay. So it was wild. Did you have to interview again, or you just got in?
I know.
What did he tell you?
Nice.
Yeah.
John Murray?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
had cool hair.
He does have cool hair. I don't know if I can don't know if this gives too much away about my like life. Yeah, but this was my CV. I don't know. I don't know about putting a picture, to be honest, but I don't know whether this gives too much away. I'm gonna skip over this.
We're all master students.
Yeah. And then this is what I've been working on at the Bartlett. Are you all undergrad or MArch? I'm masters
Menu.
and I'm in 4th year.
Yes, menu.
Oh. So this is what I had for before Christmas. And I am in Unit 12, and the project is called Ether Terra, and it is set in Retiro Park in Madrid in Spain. And our theme this year for Unit 12 was Corridors of Time. And I started off by reading the brief, of course, but I started off with a quote from Jonathan Hill, who was a tutor in Unit 12 who sadly passed away last year. And he said that we can learn from novels that freely move backwards and forwards in time and between types of time. We can also conceive alternative architectural histories if we acknowledge the time frame of related disciplines, whether thousands of archaeological years or millions of geological ones, assembled from materials of diverse ages, from the newly formed to those centuries or millions of years old, and incorporating varied studies of transformation and decay. A building is a time machine. So I started off by doing research onto like the history of a corridor and what it means. And a corridor was created to connect floor plans but in turn it also divides people as well. No, connect people, but it divides floor plans in turn. So I looked at the fallen angel in Retiro Park because it's actually a statue which is 666 meters above sea level. I think that's true. Or 66.6 meters above? No, 666 meters above sea level. And it was the only statue of Lucifer, of the devil, in Madrid. So I was like, okay, why is that there? Yeah. Because he's supposedly there as a messenger. And also the word corridor originates from being a messenger on the front line in Spain in the war. And then our first task was to design a passport for anything we wanted. So then I did a passport for the angel and the little studio that the angel's set in. And I looked at trying to find a paradox with that angel. So this is Ramon y Cajal, and he was a neuroscientist in Madrid as well. And those are 2 statues in Retiro Park. And these were some drawings that I did actually in the Bartlett summer school when I was 18, 17. And they were inspired by Cajal's drawings. So this is a map from 1849 of Retiro Park, and the 2 statues in Retiro Park are on opposite sides of Campo Grande. So this is the angel, and this is the neuroscientist. And I wanted to do a lot of painting this year. So this painting was called Corridor of Grace. So it's supposed to be very anatomical, like the neuroscientist, and with all these different angel sculptures from around the world. And then in the background, you can slightly see the angel falling into its position in the park. And I used the Museum of Recent Art in Bucharest as a precedent for my next painting because it also represents a paradox. They resemble ribs to me. They are actually very rib-like because it was inspired by Gaudi, who used ribs. Yeah.
Guys, have you ever seen architectural paintings like this?
So then if you look closely at this photograph, that was what inspired this painting. And the whole point was that I was still kind of on the spiel of looking between spirituality and science. And so I looked at Plato and Paul MacLean to use like the way that we structure our soul compared to the way that we structure our internal neuroscientific thinking, the way the brain is structured, and how you can like categorize those into the same kind of categories. So I'm going into too much detail. It's just unrelated to architecture, but this kind of like these were little paving stones that I used to then influence my thinking. So this painting at the bottom is supposed to represent basic desires, and as you go up, you have these different levels of like understanding. So you have astronomy, justice, time, and peace, and then the ladder gets harder to climb because they're things which are harder to comprehend by people. And then you're supposed to have the path to enlightenment, which the step is too tall to climb, so you actually can't ever climb it. And then this is the angel from the park in that same painting. And then you kind of go down that ladder, and I looked at Dante's Inferno as an inspiration, the way that he categorizes the different layers of hell. And I also looked at Hieronymus Bosch at the Garden of Earthly Delights, and this is actually in Madrid at the moment in the Prado Museum. This is how the site has changed over time. So this is how it was back in 1849, and now this is what it looks like now in 2024. So all those different paths were eroded. And then I did this pavilion, which is inspired by Dante's Inferno. So each layer represents, I can't remember the order. I think it's limbo, then lust. What was the order? Limbo, lust, gluttony, greed. Yeah. And so basically, as you go up the panopticon, you have sculptures of all the different characters that that Dante meets on his way to Inferno. And in Botticelli's painting at the end in Hell, he freezes, but then I put water, so it's kind of like an inverted Inferno. And this will all make sense once I get to the actual thing that I'm designing now for my proposal this year. And then I did this painting, which was inspired by Invisible Cities, which is an amazing book. So if you're thinking of studying architecture, I really recommend Invisible Cities by Calvino. It is lovely, and read it all the way to the end. So this was actually this painting, if you remember the map from this map, so those like turrets were inspired by this map, and Italo Calvino. Very good.
He's Italians.
Oh no, but he said Calvino rather than Calvino.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe that wasn't intentional. And then this is the Crystal Palace, which is actually in Retiro Park. But then it was supposed to be from this quote: "For a long time, a period to me was a fortified city on the slopes of a bay with high windows and towers, enclosed like a goblet, with a central square deep as a well, with a well in its center. I had never seen it." And he... Other way around. Oh no, this way around. Or shall I be the minion
No,
instead?
so you can still see.
Okay. For chapter 2, we are now Green Goblin from Unknown Profile.
Avengers.
Ajemble? Avengers Ajemble. And the book, actually, I won't tell you how the book ends in case you read it, but Invisible Cities by Calvino is a big recommendation. I looked, after Invisible Cities, I looked at designing from my memory. So I just modeled this and then painted it from, after reading Invisible Cities and from the way that I remember, and he is bananas, B-A-N-A. And then, this is where it gets a bit funky, and I needed to be reeled back in by my tutors because I was going a bit too far, because I imagined redesigning the park as if it were like 100 years in the future once we leave to Mars, basically. And my premise now is, so this was what I had for interim, and basically my project now is a seed bank, because currently the way that seed banks are designed is that they only store seeds just for their genetic material. And if we were to in fact have an apocalypse, the seeds wouldn't be adapted. You don't have the biodiversity adapted to come with it, and they're like in their frozen state, they're unable to actually propagate and work in the future. So what I'm proposing is a new seed bank in Spain, alongside greenhouses, which alongside greenhouses, which adapt the seeds to different climate conditions that could be potential conditions in Spain. And I'm designing this well, and I'm designing like looking at nature and as if nature was taken over. But if you stay tuned, you can see the final project at the end of the year. But this is kind of all this research. It seems like it's very conceptual, but it actually then really nicely feeds into the narrative of the project that I'm doing now. So in the seed bank, the seeds are categorized the same way that Dante categorized Inferno, and like it all ties in. So it is actually a really, really important process to go through. And I think the whole point of coming to the Bartlett and doing architecture is to like teach you how to think in that way. And it's been really, really fun in Unit 12. So if you do come, I recommend Unit 12 because I really like the storytelling aspect, and it kind of makes you see things differently. And this is the seed bank in Norway, and this is the current site that I'm working on. It's just north of the park where I had my initial like paintings. And even it was a really nice moment because we actually got to visit our sites with our tutors when we went on the field trip. And in the middle of the park, there's this beautiful tile, circular tiles, which have a paintbrush, and I just thought it was such a nice touch to, like I didn't even realize that was there. So me? Is it particle? Particle? JK. But yeah, that's my project so far. That's kind of all the research I did, but I'm doing a lot of paintings, which will be fun because at the end I'm hoping to do like a really big painting and have it explain like the whole story. Very similar to this guy. I love the way that he works. So I hope you guys liked it, and stay tuned because I can then present my DR, which is like this technical document we need to do. But yeah, thanks guys. And subscribe to Kelvin Does Architecture because he's doing great things.
Follow Ioana.
You can follow me, although I actually might start posting work. What do you guys think? I might start posting uni work, but I don't know. I'll see what I decide to do. But yeah, come to the Bartlett, guys. I'll be here next year.